In a world of pure imagination, take a look and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of my creation. What you'll be will defy explanation. Hey guys, what's up? I'm not going to sing the whole song. I'm not much of a singer, but welcome back to Floppy Woppy Month. And yes, today we're reviewing the original 1971 classic Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Yes, this movie was a flop when it first came out, so it counts. It's from 1971. The Johnny Depp movie doesn't count because it was a huge hit, but critics were like mixed on it, so I guess I could review it if I want to. But this is the original 1971 film, a musical fantasy family movie, directed by Mel Stewart and starring the always great Gene Wilder as Willy Wonka, the man, the candy man. This is a great musical. If you've never seen this version, go watch it on Netflix or rent it on Vudu or on Hulu or whatever. Watch this movie. This is a timeless classic. Just like The Wizard of Oz, the reason that it didn't do well is because in the 70s, a lot of movies were more darker. They were like major horror films coming out, like Halloween and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and you had disaster movies like uh, Earthquake and The Towering Inferno. So the 70s was a very dark time for film. But this was a much lighter film with pretty colors, beautiful sets, wonderful musical numbers. There's a couple that I don't care for, but and a really timeless story about, Willy Wonka wants someone to take over his factory when he, retires, and he sends out these golden tickets that they find in this chocolate. You know the story. And Charlie, a very poor kid in England, I guess here he's not really British in this version, but he's a really poor kid, and then his dream is to get that ticket so that he can help his family, and he could help Willy Wonka run the factory. No, I've never read the book, but I do love this movie. And the film, is it better than the Johnny Depp version? Yes, definitely, because this is a timeless movie. It's 100 minutes long. It cost $3 million, not 200, not 150, only three. And the money's on screen. The sets are practical. The Oompa Loompas look great. Oompa Loompa doobity doo. I love these. The songs in this movie are amazing. I got a golden ticket. That's a great song for the grandpa in the. I think it's Grandpa Joe, right? Let me see. Yeah, Grandpa Joe, played by the always great Jack Albertson. I mean, may he rest in peace, and Gene Wilder as well. Yeah, there's just it's a very light movie, and it's not 2.5 hours, which is mercifully short. It's only 100 minutes, an hour and 40. It doesn't drag. It does take a while to see Willy Wonka. You don't see him until like 30 minutes into the movie. But Charlie is very likable. Uh, Peter Ostrom. He was not much of an actor. He just did this one film, and that's I think about it. But he was good in the movie as Charlie Bucket. I like the family. They're in bed and they're talking to Charlie like, "Oh, you're gonna win that golden ticket, Charlie." And then you have the other characters. You have Augustus Gloop, who's the fat German kid that loves chocolate. You have the Veruca Salt, who's the British chick with the with that chews. No, not the one that chews gum. That's the other one. You have Violet, Beauregard, who's the girl that turns blue near the end. She inflates blue and her cheeks turn blue. And you also have Mike TV, who's the kid in this version. He's just watching like some cowboy show on TV. In the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory version from the 2005, he's a video gamer. So see, they did something different. It's not a shot for shot remake, and the songs in the remake are different as well. In this one, in that version, they do an intro for Willy Wonka, a song. Here, he just, he pretends he's old and he's with a cane, and then he flips, and then he does it. I'm like, Gene Wilder just owns this role. That's why it was hard for Johnny Depp to add anything, because there's no reason, there was no reason to remake it, the way they did. But it still wasn't bad. I still, as a different adaptation, I don't hate it. It does things differently, unlike the remakes from today. The film is, very light. That's beautiful. So the set of the chocolate factory looks amazing to this day. 40 plus years later, it looks amazing. The acting is mostly good. I don't really care for Veruca. She's a bitch. She's like, I want you told, daddy. And I'm like, no, I'm sick of that accent. If you people have watched my YouTube channel for the past 6 years, you know what that accent does to my inner soul and my freaking ears. Ugh. Her song, I Want It All, I'm like, it sound well, but I don't really care for it. Uh, I love the Oompa Loompas. Like I said, that scene, that trippy scene. There is a trippy scene when they're on the boat and he's like screaming and looking like this, and it's really frightening. Like it's like the biggest acid trip ever, and it's a scene that comes out of nowhere. It's like you have this whimsical, magical, musical fantasy, and then this dark scene comes out of nowhere, and I'm like, even as a kid, it freaked me out, and it's just insane. Thank God Wizard of Oz didn't have a scene like that. And there's no real villain in the movie. You know how a musical had like Wizard of Oz has a villain, Singing in the Rain has a villain, the Descendants movies have villains. All the Disney animated films, Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, etc. Yeah, they usually have a villain. This one does not have a main villain. Because Willy Wonka is more of an anti-hero than a main hero because he is strange and he pets the kids on the head and and he sings loud and there's a scene when they're eating all the candy they're eating the sets like they're knocking down gummy bears and eating the frosting from the mushrooms and everything and drinking the soda and belching. Yeah, there's some childish things in it, but this movie is an absolute classic. Like, it was not a big success. It was the 53rd highest grossing film in 1971, earning just $2 million. But Roger Ebert gave it a perfect score of 4, calling it probably the best film of its sort since The Wizard of Oz. I agree with that. It is everything that family movies usually claim to be but aren't: delightful, funny, scary, exciting, and most of all, a genuine work of imagination. Yeah, something Hollywood hasn't had in over a decade. Learn from this movie, Hollywood. There's a reason why this movie gets re-released a lot, because it's timeless. People don't want to live in a nowadays where everything's politically correct, SJW, freaking overly political, gay insensitive stuff, racial relations, freaking religious stuff. Yeah, we don't want that in a movie. We want to be entertained. We want to feel like a kid again. We want to be swept off our feet and brought into a world full of imagination, just like in this movie. He also said Willy Wonka is such a surely and wonderful spun fantasy that it works on all kinds of minds, and it is fascinating because, like all classic fantasy, it's fascinated with itself. Yes, I agree with that. And it's not lifeless like the new Lion King or Bin Laden, where there's colors in it, but it's just the same thing that we saw already. Here, this is a movie that was never done at the time with the budget that they had, and they just went for it. They went for the beautiful practical sets, real costumes, real people on camera. There's not freaking CG. There's nothing distracting in the movie. It's short. It's not 2.5 hours. Not every movie can be Endgame, guys. Sorry. Not every movie can be that, or Captain Marvel, or Avengers, or Star Wars, or whatever, the original. Yeah, and the film also, because it garnered a huge following, that's why it made its budget back over the years. But when it first came out, it didn't do well, only because of the movie like that, it was not done at the time. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is strangely yet comforting, yet full of narrative detours that don't always work but express the film's uniqueness. Absolutely. It is a classic. Of course, Dahl disowned the film. He said that the script of it was partially rewritten. He was disappointed because he thought it placed too much emphasis on Willy Wonka and not enough on Charlie. Charlie is the main focus in the first like 20, 30 minutes. If you want to see more of Charlie, see the remake. It's called Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Here is more on Willy Wonka, and because it's his movie, like it's called Willy Wonka, and the songs are just amazing. I saw the Broadway show a couple years ago, and I loved it. And it's captured the spirit of the movie. And yeah, and also the film still holds up. If you've never seen this version, watch it. It's highly recommended. It might that there's a couple of things that I don't care for. Like I said, Veruca Salt's accent and some of her singing, she's so bratty. I don't care about that scene with the scary scene is a little off-putting, especially with how whimsical the movie is. And that's it. That's all I have. The pacing is fine, and it's a magical movie. So Watch it with your kids. They can watch this movie. It's safe for them. There's nothing gory or scary in it besides that one scene. And it's a hell of a lot of fun. Thanks for watching. Take care. And go watch Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. It's from 1971. It will still stick with you. Later.